in fact, I'm just going to YouTube. We won't have any viewers yet, so I don't have to worry about it too much. Delete that old stream. That'll mess things up. There we go. Right, we are live. Getting that shared around. Be back in a sec. So we have 2 viewers already. I'm not going to do an intro yet if you're watching this. I'm busy sharing stuff around, so for once I'm not eating on live stream, but we'll get there. Dark Smoke has just gone live as well. So what's on your mind? We are live for the... I need to get the JustGiving link pasted up in the comments as well. Should be getting quali underway in a minute, I think.
Yeah.
I know what I'm going to do as well. I've got a Discord somewhere that I post random stuff in to get more viewers. I'm going to slap this in there as well. Alright, so that is all my posting, sticking, cutting, copying and all that jazzmatazz done and out of the way. So, let's have a look who we've got. Are we missing one person?
Yes. Yeah.
I'll slap a little comment in, see if anyone can spot it. Right. That's us. Okay. So, if you're watching this, I'm in the middle of admin. And we'll be right back with you. Alright then, so ladies and gents, you join me and my co-compadre Jordan, aka JPH99, a name that will be familiar to most of you because we've spouted random inane bollocks over his races before when he's been racing in the Siroccos of NxtGen Racing. Joins me tonight in the commentary booth where we commentate over a very special event. So the NxtGen boys have a bit of a mid-season lull where they have basically a week off. Where they all go to remote Caribbean islands and drink cocktails. This time they've decided to stay home in their underwear and do some sim racing, all in the name of charity. So what they're unanimously agreed on, and I will say the word unanimously with some ferocity, might and enthusiasm, they want to do this in the name of a cause. So everyone unanimously picked, obviously, cancer. In one way or another it's affected everyone's lives, some more directly than others. There's a lot of sort of stories being shared around in the group chat earlier on today. In fact, I'll give you a bit of a view of cars going around a track, not just a bloody lobby. So we'll watch West Ham does. Yeah, so there's a few people sharing stories and everything else, and the head honcho of P1, Baggy Snails, is one of the men who's affected by it. My mum was. We lost her to cancer 2 years ago. There's loads, there's loads of people that have been affected by it, and I think if a bunch of just random people from the internet can just do a little bit to help, then that's what they want to do. So we're going to do 2 races tonight. The first one is obviously the minis, and it's obviously at Brands Hatch GP. What else? We're going to do a 10-minute qualifying session here to determine the grid for that race, and then we're going to switch it up a little bit. We're going to go to the Mazdas. Now these are the touring car versions that you won't have seen on my channel yet because I've not covered them, but they're a brilliant little car. So the Mazda touring cars, they're going to be at Autopolis. So I'll just let my co-compadre say a few words. Jordan, I guess, have you driven any of these cars on any of these circuits yet? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. The minis round Brands Hatch, yeah, well, I've driven them around Brands Hatch Indy before. Very quirky little cars, and you can push them quite hard, but as soon as you try to push too hard, they're going to cause you a little bit of issue. Obviously, I don't know the exact weight rules of the minis and the power, but I know you have to modify them a little bit, so I think they're a little bit more powerful. I think they're 150 brake at
Correct.
1050 kilos.
Bang up.
So it's going to make for some interesting racing. The slipstream is going to be key in these things, especially around Brands Hatch.
Well, it's like driving a cupboard. So they just punch a big hole in the air, don't they?
Oh, without a doubt. The MX-5s, I had a little go in last night. So a couple nights ago, I had a go in the MX-5s on the controller around Autolus. And very nice car drive. I think you're going to find a lot of people being able to push the car more than they thought they could. It does snap if you're not careful with no traction control on, but it takes a lot for it to go. I also believe that that's going to be a strong slipstream, so you're going to see a lot of overtaking in the down the straights.
Yeah, I noticed that in the settings. Obviously, both teams have decided what cars, tracks and settings they're going to run with, and they've both gone with slightly... They're similar, but the main one is slipstream that's different. So the race that we're watching now, the slipstream setting is real. So I think what you said earlier, that the slipstream is going to be key, and it's getting in that slipstream zone that's probably going to be more important than necessarily getting, a slipstream. It's getting in the right sort of area. Whereas the Mazdas, it's essentially going to, it's on strong, which is essentially boost, isn't it?
Yeah. It effectively punches a greater hole in the air, which means the car behind with a strong slipstream basically has nothing around it touching the car. So it's like being pulled into a vacuum. It's nuts.
Yeah, no, I agree. And Mocking Weeks has joined as well. Yeah, so we're in for two good races. They both got quite diabolical tyre wear as well, haven't they? So the tyres and the fuel are going to be an issue for these boys tonight, and it's something they've got to contend with in their day-to-day stuff as well. I know you race in the Siroccos, which doesn't run with tyre wear, but we're running 10 times tyre modifiers tonight, so that has a dramatic impact on how the car's handled by that.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, I've been in leagues previously where there's been tyre wear to the point, as you say, where the tyres just don't want to grip. And once it gets to that stage, you've really got to handle it well, especially in these type of races where the difference can be how long you can take the tyres, because you want the better tyres at the end of the race. Now, I believe we're not expecting any pit stops in the minis. I believe they're okay. However, in the Mazdas, I think we're expecting pit stops. So extending that first stint, if you can keep a good pace, so you have better tyres at the end, is going to be critical.
Yeah, because they absolutely muller there. Well, it might just be my driving style, but I had to have the brake bias set to a ridiculous level in the Mazdas just to keep the front tyres alive when I did a bit of testing in it. So yeah, that's going to be quite key. Got Scruff in the comments mentioning the hard on the tyres. Are you on about the minis or the Mazda, Scruff? I think the minis do, but they wheel spin like absolute nuts, these things, if you don't modulate your power right. So yeah, both could be applicable. Worth mentioning at this point, we are 7 minutes deep into qualifying already by the looks of things, and the current pole sitter is Lightblade, someone that we've seen before. Is he in the Siroccos as well, Lightblade? Is he racing the Siroccos?
He is. He's
a quick guy.
But, and he is a very quick guy, as Steve Scooby now takes pole position.
Yeah, just pipped him.
Yeah, I remember, because obviously Lightblade began with no livery at all in the Siroccos. And you remember this, Chris?
Yeah, I do. Because I was taking mech out of him for it, then he slapped my logo all over the roof, and now I hail him a hero.
He didn't slap that, I did.
Fair enough. I'll thank you for that, not him. I'll take it back.
Yeah, we got him sorted with a livery, and it was it looked like the eBay BMW in some respects.
Big up to Dark Sykes in the chat. NxtGen's head honcho. Baggy Snails is also in the house as well. Dennis Shower. All the big boys are watching this. Yeah, good evening, boys. So anyone that's watching this will notice I've posted a little comment in the link. Sorry, a link in the comments. Got that the wrong way around. To a JustGiving page. Donating is not compulsory, of course, but it would be vastly appreciated. And if you could go and slap whatever spare change you've got hiding behind the couch into that, we would love you eternally. Just taking us back to qualifying. This man's putting in a pretty impressive show. He's on a really good run of form, Hunty the Punty. He's picking up wins all over the place at the minute. And he's currently put it in third, just 8/10 off the lead, so he's doing well.
Should we go on board lap with him?
Let's do that. So talk us round a lap of bands.
So we're coming into Paddock Hill Bend, obviously over a slight crest, right-hander down the hill. You can go too wide as Punty the Punty almost does. Up the hill into Druids, a hairpin right. You can be as late as you can on the brakes. It's uphill, easy to slow down. Two ways, you can tuck it in and then bring it out to the curb, or you can try and square the corner off. Down to Graham Hill Bend, a flip left into 9 left. Again, just a tap of the brakes to get the front end turned in, using as much of the curb as you can. Down towards Surtees. Now, this is a weird corner. It's a very late apex. You brake in a straight line, hit the apex just after the big curb ends, and then put the power on as you go up towards the curb. Down towards Pilgrim's Drop. Obviously, not really much of a corner or much of a challenge. You go underneath the bridge. Down towards Hawthorns. This is where BTCC got interesting on the weekend. Just tap the brakes a little bit, or just lift off in these things. You just tuck it in and gradually bring the throttle back in. Into the next right-hander. Oh, you want to be clipping the curb as Hunty the Punty completely misses it. Yeah, you want to be just about clipping the curb, not too much because it will put the car wide. Stay on board
he's just staying out of the way here, and he is back underway now.
Through Dingledale, see that would be flat. Machine curve, a tricky corner. You've got to get it tucked in and not let it run wide, as some people already have by the marks. Into Stirling, cambered in left-hander, should carry good pace as Hunty does. And then finally down towards Clark Curve. Again, a slightly later apex. As obviously the session's ended, so Hunty doesn't need to do anything there. But slightly later apex, as you then pick up the throttle down towards the start-finish string.
And a very comprehensive and insightful view of Brands Hatch, messed up by Hunty the Punty. He was up as well. Sector 1, he was 4.5 temps up. I was getting quite excited. So, yep, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to get underway with race 1 then. So, of course, just before we get underway, it's well worth mentioning that this is the Proam lobby. There is another lobby running tonight, and that's being streamed by Dark Smoker, and it's on Dark Smoker's channel, and he's got Pot Pot for company. Please go over and show them some love as well. Tell them CJW sent you. He'll either be nice to you or call you something that I can't say. Yeah, let's get underway. We're going to have half an hour endurance race in front of us tonight in the minis, and let's do this.
Yep, Steve Scooby taking the pole position point then for the first race.
That's 1 point on the board already for P1. Let's see who can take the honours in the race then. As we get underway, Huntley gets away a little bit slowly, Ewok gets away well, West Ham Daz and Milo Tyler already dropping back from the front pack. Is there any movement towards back? Cuddles holding a really good line through turn 1. Boonsy Bob goes a little bit wide. So all going to get a little bit clustered now as they all head into the hairpin. Hunty the Punty, after losing 2 spots on turn 1, wants to make that straight back up again. Nice and clean though from these guys so far.
Yeah, they're nearly 3 wide into Graham Hill Bend as Bogus Begbie, Ewok and Milo Tyler have a little bit of a battle going into it. Not the ideal situation having 2 next-gen guys side by side.
No, you want to be helping each other, don't you? You don't want to be fighting. So Hunty the Punty and Bogus Begbie are at risk of fighting each other now. So we just go on board with Bogus Begbie and get the view that he's got coming down Pilgrims. So Slipstream, this is where it's really going to matter down here. As we just see Pilgrim Paddy going for a move. Not a corner you can overtake on here, as you sort of said in your lap overview.
Say that, but Stewie Mack is making a move on Boozy Bob. They're side by side through Hawthorns. To the right hander they go, and Boozy Bob off wide of the gravel. Stewie Mack makes up the place.
So it's Steve Scooby then. Away to Lightblade, Cuddles up into third, Rear Wheel 72 in fourth. Hunty the Punty in fifth, Bogus Begbie Company in sixth. Seventh is Ewok. West Ham Daz and Milo Tyler having a little bit of a battle now. Milo Tyler getting a position up there for NxtGen Racing. We've seen someone go off in the back. Who was that? Let's have a look.
We have got Wheat Smoker and Stewie Mack off at Clark Curve.
Let's have another quick look at what happened there then. So Wheat Smoker was running 12th and was defending to Stewie Mack. Just come into Clark Curve, just carried a little bit too much speed. Yeah, they basically just followed each other off there. Okay.
And Wheat Smoker off at Paddock Hill Bend. He looks like he's had a bit of a spin.
Probably dirty tyres from the off at Clark Curve. I feel potentially might be the cause for that one.
I'm just having a look on the GT Sport pad, see what happens. Yeah, he just runs wide into the gravel.
Okay, so just catching up with the action. Looks like Cuddles and Lightblade. They're not really contesting each other for second and third. I'll be honest, they are more. Looks like they're more helping each other out. Steve Scooby is not really managing to escape this like we would expect, but the top three are starting to break away from the pack a little bit. Consisting of Rear Wheel 72, Hunty the Punty and Bogus Begbie. A few little packs starting to emerge in this one already as they close out lap 2, and just keep an eye out for any battles that we may have on track, I guess.
Yeah, I think the main one's this battle for fourth as Hunty the Punty makes a move on Rear Wheel.
Yeah, and Lightblade's making a move for the P1 as well, against the P1 driver Steve Scooby. Is going to get that move down into T1. Steve Scooby does run it a little bit wide. Cuddles takes advantage as well. Yeah, like you said, well observed. Hunty the Punty's going to have a run on him as well, I dare say.
Into Druid, side by side.
Lovely move by Hunty the Punty.
Very opportunistic coming out of Paddock Hill Bend there.
We're going to go and have another look at that from Hunty's perspective. So he sees Steve Scooby run it really wide at T1. He gets on the power really early, and yeah, Steve Scooby doesn't bother to fight it, and essentially just lets him go. Maybe he was looking for the cutback, but Hunty got the car stopped in plenty of time and made that move stick. So nice move there. So it's an NGR 123.
Yeah, I think it's worth to say, obviously, this is NxtGen's pick of cars. They race these week in, week out on a Monday. So it's kind of good to see that they are up at the top, because obviously they pretty much practice every week.
Correct, yeah. And this is one of the tracks on the calendar as well, so...
maybe getting past Hunty as well.
Steve Scooby's made that place up. So was that a mistake? And it's really, the battle for third is really starting to kick off now. All this fighting.
Looks like Hunty, just watching the replay, Hunty just runs a little bit wide through Hawthorns, and Steve Scooby makes the play stick through the next right-hander. So good stuff.
Hunty's coming straight back. Yeah, it's coming straight back at him. Down into T1 again. Very easy on these minis, they go very light coming down here, so it's very, very, very easy to understeer wide. Just the weight transfer of these cars doesn't do him any favour. Steve Scooby's going to come straight back at him.
Switch back to Paddock Hill, always a favourite move. Bogus Begbie's looking, but he's about to get overtaken from behind.
Yeah, Bogus Begbie might be at risk of losing his 6th position to Ewok. for all that fighting he was trying to get in front of Rear Wheel 72. So at the minute then, it's yeah, and as it goes side by side, coming through Surtees, there's a car in the gravel. That's Lightblade, and I don't know what's happened there. Let's go back and have another look at what happened to Lightblade. Just coming through Surtees now. Yeah, he just runs it wide
into the barrier as well, which doesn't help because that means you'll have no momentum getting back on.
But what that does mean is NGR Cuddles has got a nearly 3-second lead, 4 laps in.
Oh, Boomsy Bob, I've just come back, had a bit of a moment, Lightblade back in the gravel.
Boomsy Bob is going on an adventure on this one at the minute. Probably dirty tyres. What you tend to find is one off leads to another. As your tyres just scrub up with dirt, and there we see it in action again. Boomsy Bob and Miley Tyler having co-joined spins, I think.
Going through, yeah, Sheen Curve on the grass. Definitely don't want to be up there. Just an update for third. Rear Wheel 72 has overtaken Steve Scooby, whether that's a tactical decision, because Steve Scooby is gradually going backwards in this field.
He's slowly. Is it risk of Ewok getting past him as well? So what the P1 boys don't want is infighting. There's 3 of them together battling for third place, and if they slow each other down like you hinted at there, then it's just going to let Cuddles and Hunty run away. So yeah, could be tactical.
Bogus Begley made a mistake through Paddock Hill getting into the ground, so that's where he's lost all of his time.
He's just made another one coming into Surtees as well, so P1 are really starting now to assert some pace into this one. They've been practicing this, I think, because they've now got a lot of cars in the top 10. So West Ham Daz now looking for a move on Bogus Begbie. Not quite close enough at this minute in time, but Begbie has made 1 or 2 errors, so hopefully he can iron those out and get back into it. Lightblade after his spin running in 9th, 15 seconds behind first place. There's 21 minutes left, of course, so there's time. Stewie Mackin is very bright and eye-catching livery under pressure from Myla Tyler for 11th.
Bogus Begbie getting 6th place. Back.
He's made that stick then.
Nicely done on the inside. It's really interesting, obviously. You speak about the livery of Street Mac. It's interesting that it looks like P1's gone for a unique livery from every driver, and NxtGen have just gone for a bulk team livery.
Yeah, I noticed that. But it gives the opportunity for some really nice looking liveries. I mean, I'm looking at Rear Wheel 72 man's gone with almost like a Hulk theme on his. Is that a Hulk theme or is that Matrix? One or the other two. Not too sure. Monster, actually.
Yeah, I was going to say it's probably Alien or something.
It could be, but he's got the logo of Dark Smoker smashed all over that. Of course, Dark Smoker very closely affiliated with P1. He does a lot of their commentary work, so don't be surprised if you see his liveries all over the place. So Ewok then in 5th. Bogus Begbie, after getting past Mocking Weeks a lap or so ago, will be eager to get himself back up into the higher running order. The battle for third settled down a little bit. Hunty's escaped a little bit, and Steve Scooby's not really putting Rear Wheel 72 man under too much pressure. Couple of close cars, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th that could come into contention a little bit later on in the race.
9th as well, there's Lightblade, quickest man last time around with a 41.6.
Nice.
He is rapidly catching West Ham Daz.
Well, we know from qualifying that he's one of the fastest men on track. And yet, you're right, he's closed that gap up dramatically in the last couple of laps. It wasn't even a visual gap last time.
Put it this way, obviously Lightblade did a 41.6 last time around, West Ham Daz a 44.4. Let's see what it is this time around. West Ham Daz does a 42.9 compared to a 41.7 by Lightblade.
It's a second a lap quicker, essentially. And that is a vast yawning chasm of time in these things. So we'll keep our eye on this Battle 4-6. This is what's spicing up to be. We'll keep our eyes across the field as well. So Jordan's on the GT Sport pad, as he said, so he's got access to all the in-game action as well, so he can keep an eye on things from us and highlight us to any situations that arise on track. Obviously we're nearly at the halfway point of this race now, as Mocking Weeks looks for a move on Bogus Begbie. They're of course on the same team, so that wouldn't be well equipped. Lightblade now has 3 P1 boys in front of him if he wants to go anywhere. Has he got 3 P? Oh no, Bogus Begbie's there. 2 P1 boys in front of him. 2. I can't count tonight. It's been a long day.
Lightblade is almost pushing West Ham Downs then through the right-hander after Hawthorns, and now on the inside for Sheen Curve.
Is he going to get a move dangerous? I think he just backs out of that.
Probably wise. Yeah, to make a move into Sheen Curve, you need to be fully alongside going through Dingodale, which he wouldn't.
Yeah, one thing I'll attest both these groups to doing is racing clean and fair. They're fast, they're quick, they do compete hard, but they do it fairly as well.
Down the inside.
He's going to get that move done. Just got a better drive, didn't he? Out of, is it Clark Curve?
It looked like West Ham Downs just had a bit of understeer as per usual going through Clark Curve, and that's just opened the door for Lightblade to get a bit of a tighter line and get the power on earlier.
So that's Lightblade beginning his ascent back towards the top. Obviously was running in the top 3 at one point. Let's have a bit of a field recap then and just see what's going on. So Cuddles and Hunty the Punty still running away with this. So Cuddles has a 2.5 second gap to Hunty. Hunty has a 2.5 second gap to Real Wheel 72 man. Real Wheel 72 and please do.
Mocking Weeks just past Bogus Begbie, and I can assure you now, Bogus Begbie, looking at the times, was practically sandbagging on lap 7, trying to aid Lightblade in his mission of getting back up through the field.
So it's the NGR boys working together then, but Mocking Weeks has snuck through.
Just running a bit wide through Surtees did Bogus Begbie.
He did that before, didn't he?
Once you run wide through Surtees, it's a lot of momentum lost.
And he gets it a little bit wrong there as well, so is he going to be best place letting Lightblade go? I think he is. As we just look back from Mocking Weeks' perspective, Lightblade's through. So that's 2 positions in a corner, essentially in a lap for Lightblade. So he can now begin his charge up the field once more. Bogus Begbie coming under pressure, I think, now from West Ham Daz as well, who's not a slow guy either. Yeah, he had a really nice line.
Obviously, all the NGR boys with their liveries, obviously they're the same livery, have on the minis, you can see the wing mirrors and the rings around the lights have different colours. And obviously they've got different numbers as well, but that's the main way you can tell. As you can see, Lightblade's wearing the white wing mirrors, Bogus Begbie the red. A bit sideways as well through Surtees.
Very. Drifter Mini. Yeah, it's good how the NGR liveries, they are the same but different. You can distinguish them apart from one another just by the. I've been using the wing mirrors as a bit of a guide, but a nice looking car there.
Lightblade now right on the back of Mocking Weeks, and if these two boys fight enough, it could bring Bogus Begbie into. Chances are, when Lightblade does get past, it could open the door for him at the same time.
He's doing a good job of defending so far, Mocking Weeks. He's just putting his car in the right position at the right time. But yeah, you're right, he's brought Bogus Begbie right back into it as West Ham Daz just gets a penultimate corner just a little bit wrong. Has he gone through clearways? Let's have a look. flicking back up through. Hunty the Punty's closed the gap to Cuddles quite significantly.
Free Will Man has now taken the fastest lap.
You know what? I was just thinking that. Has Ewok been off track, has he?
I'm just having a look now through Paddock Hill. He's just understeered into the gravel, and as we all know, GT Sport gravel grounds you to a complete halt.
Yeah, it's like that stuff they put at the end of airport runways.
They were almost getting in the way of Mocking Weeks. Mocking Weeks almost collected him as he came back onto the circuit.
Mocking Weeks at the minute is under an absolute cascade of pressure from Lightblade and Bogus Begbie as they come down Pilgrims. Coming through Surtees, Lightblade was practically pushing him around. So Mocking Weeks, who is losing time to the guys up in front, is essentially keeping Lightblade from mounting a charge for a position higher up. It's not easy to pass around here, is it?
It's well, it's got its favourite spots. Obviously, the top end where you've got the likes of Hawthorns, Dingledale, Shinko. That's not very easy to pull a move off. The Indy circuit where you've got Paddock into Druids, Surtees is normally not quite a nice switchbacking corner. You can force a car on the Titan line. It's a very technical circuit to overtake on. You've almost got to create the move rather than just force it.
So you're saying force people to go defensive and lose their lines, yeah, essentially.
So, for example, as we've seen a few times this race in Paddock Hill, you make the car go to the inside of Paddock Hill. They will understeer out wide. You'll have a nicer line and can get on power earlier with a straighter line, and then you've got the run into Druids. So you effectively create the door open going up towards Druids, but you set it up about 200 metres before Paddock Hill.
Nice. It's a good track. His Brands Hatch. I've won quite a few races here myself, and I can attest that it's not easy. I just see Stewie Mack get past Marley Tyler. In terms of on-track action, then, Marley Tyler just drifts it around Graham Hill, but holds it really nicely. Glad we got that on camera. Let's have a look. Mocking Weeks, yeah, like I said, Mocking Weeks has gone backwards. Essentially, the last few laps. Lightblade and Bogus Begbie now have begun their ascent back up. Rear Wheel 72 man's just been off track. Not sure what happened there. Did he just run it wide at Hawthorns? I think he did. Yeah, he did. Chasing Steve Scooby. So now, unfortunately for Rear Wheel 72, that's going to put Lightblade really close up behind him. So
I would agree, but unfortunately that's not Hawthorns. I think that's Westfield.
Oh, right, okay. I'm not up on my corner names and my phone keeps shutting down.
I think I'm a bit sad the fact that I all pretty much know this inside out with corner names without a map. It's ridiculous.
I'm like that with some tracks, but Brands Hatch isn't one of them. So, we've got a change of the lead. When did this happen?
Quite possibly tactical.
It quite possibly was, because Cuddles had a penalty and it looked like he served it. So yeah, Hunty the Punty now up into the leads. So the leader of Proam currently, with Cuddles giving chase behind. Steve Scooby has closed the gap a little bit. So Steve Scooby, it'd been good to get a view on his lap time, Steve Scooby, because he's I bet he's been consistent because he's there. Unless he was just being held up by lap traffic up ahead. Rear Wheel 72 is losing time to Lightblade.
I believe Bogus Begbie had a little issue through Paddock Hill. He's now down to 9th place.
You are right, he has. Let's have another look at that on camera. Yeah, he just got it too wide coming out of Graham Hill. If that's the right corner name.
He did go wide at Graham Hill, but he actually lost the places into Paddock.
Did he?
Coming out of Paddock Hill, yeah.
The replay ended at that point, so I didn't see it. So, 2/3 of the way through this one. Lap 12 of the minis. Don't forget, after this we'll have a little bit of a break, and then we'll quickly transition all the racers and the race teams over to the other side of the world and bring the Mazdas out for or topless. And and that'll be another 10-minute quali, half-hour race to look forward to. Of course, in the meantime, I guess we'll have a look at the points on the championship, and we'll be able to have a look at that throughout race 2 as well.
Cuddles has got back past Hunty the Punty.
So he has. Are these two fighting? They don't want to be doing that.
No, I think this is all tactical stuff. I got a feeling whenever one gets a bad run out of the corner and the other does get a good run, I think that they are actually just saying, actually, I'm not going to bother fighting it, just let the other car go ahead, carry the speed and drop back in. It's very sensible. If that's what they're doing, that's very sensible driving for a team versus team event. Yeah,
because it's not an individual thing. Even though I guess, you know, every racing driver wants to take home the glory, but it's a team thing as well. As we just see Steve Scooby kick up a little bit of dirt behind. Yeah, it's all about those team points. It's very much like the F1 Manufacturers Championship. So it's like a Valtteri, it's James sort of scenario. Hunty is faster than you, let him overtake sort of thing.
Yeah, Felipe Massa, Hockenheim. About 2010, I believe.
I'll take your word on that one. I know what bit you're referring to though, weirdly enough.
Bogus Begbie all over the back of Mocking Weeks now, after his little excursion at Paddock Hill. He's looking currently on the outside line through Clark Curve, so maybe setting up for a switchback, unless he's brave enough to just try it round the outside.
I think he was going for the switchback, but Mocking Weeks actually stopped it on the curb almost and prevented him from getting the inside line. I think that might have been what he's going for, given the car's body language.
Oh, very, very tight margins.
Is he going to get a better run? Yeah.
Yeah, it's down the inside. We see it yet again through Paddock Hill Bend.
Lovely move. We'll just have another bit of a look at that on the replay camera. So yeah, Mocking Weeks just has to get off the power coming up the hill, and that allows Bogus Begbie to essentially get that move done into the hairpin.
Oh, and that's Ewok has gone off at Surtees. Free position then from Bogus Begbie.
Yeah, it just that's happened a few times. Yeah, GT Sport Gravel doing its finest once again. As we switch back to Ewok, he's still struggling with those tyres.
Lightblade not really catching Rear Wheelman here now. He's 6.3 and the gap's just pretty much flatline there. That's like 42.3 to Wheelman's 41.7, so Wheelman just going a little bit quicker at the moment.
He's doing a good job. Rear Wheel 72 man. In fact, I think everyone's doing a damn good job of these ones. I've driven these cars, they're an absolute nightmare.
Oh, fastest lap from Lightblade, a 41.2.
That's a stonker of a lap, especially considering he won't have any slipstream or anything helping him out for it. Baggy Snails in the chat. NGR boys very good at the Mini. Yeah, I'll probably agree with you on that one, Baggy, but it's the P1 boys will be in the ascendancy in the next time round with the Mazdas. I've seen you boys race those on Dark Smoker's stream, and my god, are they ferocious. Shout out to Hunty the Punty from the 55.8. Hunty is currently in a very close contested, I want to say battle, but it's not a battle. We'll just use the word race for first position. So these two, Hunty the Punty and Cuddles, have been working together pretty much since the start of the race in order to assert dominance in the race overall. It will probably get to the point that they'll probably start fighting soon, because it's 4.5 minutes left. One of them's going to want to take home victory, or do you think they'll just keep it calm and bring it home as a 1-2?
I think they'll keep it calm. Obviously these boys will be in a chat themselves, so that's why I suspect the P1 boys will be.
Very good
they'll
point.
Be in a chat, talking to each other, which is obviously key to this, is having that communication. And I think it'll be settled in there when it comes to it. That final lap, whoever is in the lead then, that's who's winning the race, unless a mistake is made.
Right, well, we'll see how that develops. We'll be hitting that final lap in a minute or two's time, because we've just got 3 and a bit minutes left of this one. So Bogus Begbie, after making that mistake, is after picking up a 7th position. He's got a 1.1 second deficit to Mocking Weeks and a couple of laps in order to make that one back up. Baggy Snell's got an eye on both. Very impressed with the racing, very clean, good to see. Yeah, not a single incident to even talk about in this one in terms of any door banging or dodgy driving or anything. Everyone's kept it clean.
Andy the Punty now in the lead. Side by side going into Hawthorne, so you've got to be careful here.
Oh.
Cuddles!
Does he
Very
keep it?
well saved.
Has that lost him time? It has lost him time to Steve Scooby though. Let's just have a... So we're just replaying that. Yeah, so Hunty the Punty just sailed it up the inside.
It looks like Cuddles was actually behind going into the corner already. Oh, he just touched the curb a little bit. Maybe he is on a controller, I believe, tonight, because his seat was rained upon because his shed decided to have a leak. So that looks like a typical GT Sport overreaction with the pad.
Well, he did it at some mighty car control using your thumbs just to stop that thing from spinning out of control.
Yeah, I mean, I can use controller and wheel on this game. It's not easy on the controller.
So in terms of battles to watch out for as you close out this race, I guess Mocking Weeks and Bogus Begbie could still hot up as we enter what is likely now the penultimate lap of the race. Hunty the Punty and Cuddles could always change once again, of course. Short of that, in terms of on-track action, there isn't a vast amount going on at this minute in time in terms of people side by side. Steve Scooby is looking for that second place though. Cuddles is going to have a job on now to keep him at bay.
That's very smart actually from Cuddles going into Hawthorne's. He knew the move was never going to be on, and rather than going defensive, he just took the racing line.
So this is the thing, I mean, you do get to know certain teams and drivers have certain, let's just say, reputations. P1 came in with a very, very, very good reputation of clean racing, so I think Cuddles knew that Steve Scooby was never going to smash him off track, and had the confidence, I guess, like you say, just to race on the racing line and not get lunged from what was a distance.
We may seem like we missed it, but Steve Scooby, an absolute stonker of a lap by him now, with a 1 minute 40.8. That's a 4 tenths quicker than anyone else.
He's flying at the minute, Steve Scooby, but he's on the last lap now. And Cuddles and Punty are back together again. They'll probably just help each other around this last lap. Steve Scooby is well primed though.
They have to use the slipstream here just to get away. Hunty runs a bit wide through Graham Hill. Obviously, whilst everything's, I say, quieted down a little bit in brackets, you'll notice every car, well, most cars running the FU Cancer sticker on the livery, courtesy of the cause we're all racing for tonight.
Correct. So, as the title suggests, there is a link in the comments as well to a JustGiving page that we set up earlier on today. I think, did he say it's at £130 already?
135 when I last checked. I'll give it another look for the end of the race.
So yeah, any spare change you've got, throw it in there. We'll keep our eye on the leaders then as they come around the penultimate corner for the final time. Hunty the Punty leads us through, followed closely by NGR Cuddles and Steve Scooby, not too far behind as well. A couple of racers, of course, have already crossed the line, and by virtue of that and the time we're elapsing have finished the race. We'll have a bit of a recap of the results afterwards. So in the team versus team Proam lobby, the winner of race 1, Hunty the Punty, NGR Cuddles, comes home in second, with Steve Scooby in a well-earned third position, also claiming the fastest lap point as well. Rearwheel 72 brings home 4th. Lightblade potentially disappointed with a 5th place after running so high.
Very good drive back from Lightblade, considering the incident he had.
It was down to 9th, weren't he, at one point. West Ham Daz in 6th. Mocking Weeks brings home a 7th. Bogus Begbie
lost a lot of time somewhere.
Tons, yeah. Well, he lost 10 seconds somewhere along the line. I don't know what his lap times are. I haven't got that on screen, but
1:51.7 last time around. He
puts it backwards over the line. Full Gymkhana send.
Stewie Mac, fair play. That's a great drive by him, starting near the back and ending up in the top 10, 9th place. So
he started at the back, did he?
Well, he started near the back. He wasn't in 9th. He didn't start in 9th, that was for sure. So it's a good drive by him.
It's that livery, mate. If you see that in the if you see that livery in the rearview mirror, you're going to get out of the way of it. So that's results confirmed then, ladies and gents. Congratulations to Hunty the Punty for winning race number 1. Dark Smoker GT Sport in the chat. I'll drop over to your channel in a minute and say hello. All good here. We've had a good race 1. Everyone's raced really well, to be fair. So let's have a drop over to the Pro channel and see how that's going. Smash a like on that as well.
I'll get some points sorted in the meantime for Proam.
So it looks like the Pro race is coming to an end. First one. Fraser Sparks winning that one. Raoul Baba in 3rd. So yeah, NGR representing in Groves as well at first in the Pro race. So they're doing a good job there. Let me just save the replay. Give some congratulations out. To Hunty the Punty, to Cuddles, and to who came in first? Steve Scooby. Yep, so that was race number 1, ladies and gents. We're going to be changing shortly to our top list. We will give the drivers a little bit of a break, of course, so they can go and have a cuppa, have a wee, do what they need to do, I guess. So that's race 1 over and done with. We'll jump over to our top list for some qualifying. Let me just refresh the JustGiving page, see what we're at. So yeah, £135. So shout out to the donators of that. I've yet to donate, of course, but I will be doing that very shortly. In fact, I might do that on stream. Might do it now. I think JustGiving. I use JustGiving. I've got all my bloody card details saved on it. Let's have a look. Okay, yeah, so the host has changed us to Autopolis. So I guess while I'm doing this in the background, because the stream doesn't need to... Well, last week it was me eating a pasta bake, and now it's me figuring out how to use the internet. So it's got to be something every week, hasn't it? Let's have a look at the lobby settings.
Fresh.
So we set it as 30 laps. I don't know if it's meant to be 30 laps. I'll probably question him on that. So yeah, we are at Autopolis. It's the Mazda touring cars. While the boys are on a break, actually, I might take the stream on a lap around this. Just see what it's at. Slipstream strong, so that's probably going to be the bit that changes everyone around. Tyre wear 10 times, fuel depletion 4 times. So this is where it gets interesting. So let me pick a car. Is my wheel on?
If you want, I can take you on a trip in a...
Oh, have you got your car?
I've got my car loaded up, yeah. Let's go have a run.
Let's do that then. So let me exit out of this 1 minute.
I will apologise, I am on the controller.
So alright, you probably drive this better than I do.
So I've got the keyboard plugged in. Go for a quick out lap, and then we'll go for a bit of a fly. I mean, the other night I managed to get a 159. Not 159, 155. So
155.
we'll see how it goes.
I think that's my best as well. So I'm not too far away from that. While you do your out lap, I'll just post this. Yes, I'd gift aid. Tick, tick, tick. Yeah. Right, now let me see if my phone has saved my donation details. So, ladies and gents, I've just done it. I've just slapped a donation in there. It doesn't have to be much. £5, £1, 50p, £4,000, £100. It all goes to Stand Up to Cancer. It's every penny. It's every single penny counts. You know what I mean? When you're dealing with a disease that does this sort of damage to people's lives and families, it's not really anything that you can sort of sit there and go, oh, it's fine. It's not an issue.
If you want to, sorry, a few days ago, about Thursday last week, we lost rallying driver in our rallying community to cancer. So it's very much a real problem.
It's absolutely huge. I mean, we're obviously looking to get cancer research up there, but also it's for looking after people who've not only got it, because obviously you can have cancer and live quite a fulfilling life, but with some elements of it, you know, mainly stripped back. I know when my mum was diagnosed with it, she lived for a few years of it, and to sit there as a son and watch what it does to people is awful. But yeah, let's take you on a lap.
We've got full circuit in a Mazda, which is fully tuned and minimum weight, so you're going to come down to the first corner, hit it about the orange point in the barrier there. Can go down to second, normally third. I've just worked it to a flat right through turn 2, into turn 3, which is this 90-degree right-hander, which you brake about there, hit down to third. And basically through here, you're just using the off-throttle turning of GT1 to get the car to turn in, hit the brakes hard into the hairpin right, second gear. You see what I mean? You can bring the power in really early with these cars, flick it right, fourth or third into here, doesn't really matter. Just a slightly lighter apex in the middle of the corner, again absolutely pinned out of it. Flick it right, up to the top, then the second marker there, hit the brakes because this is, even though it's uphill, it's a horrible little crest mid-corner and you can run wide there. Back down the hill, as we are now in the third and final sector. Hit the brakes, third gear, get it turning in, just bring the throttle in. Into fourth, again, using now the off-throttle turning of the car. Drop it down to third. Clip the brakes a little bit, and just try and take this a little bit square than you would. Just clip the curb on the right, then straighten it for the left. Again, lift through here. Bring in throttle. Final corner. Keeping it all in third, because obviously you lose time changing the gear. Again, you want to be as straight on the exit as possible. As I say that, I'm catching up with Cuddles. And that's a lap, a 156.1, which ain't too bad for a first time around.
That is not bad at all. Thank you for that talk through the lap. That's a nice looking livery. Who designed that?
I don't know which livery you're about, to be honest, mate. I'm not looking.
The Mazda. The Mazda. Let's have a look then. Yeah, a few minutes.
The NGR Mazdas, that was my creation. I do enjoy a good livery making.
I enjoy it, I'm just no good at it. Right, I'm just checking the Pro Stream settings. Let's have a look. Yeah, they're 30 minutes as well. I think it's a good job I mentioned that, because if it's a 2-minute lap and he's doing 30 laps, we'll be here for an hour. So we don't. I'll just highlight that to Stewie.
So I have the current standings.
Right, let's have a look then.
So the team standings here. NxtGen currently have 75 points going into the second race, with P1 trailing on 69, so there's a 6-point gap.
All to play for then. Talk about close. As I just somehow focus my camera on a hill for some reason. Yeah, so it all comes down to this one. Now, of course, these guys are going to be dealing with tyre wear and fuel consumption all the way through this. There is by no means a pit stop mandated, I guess is probably the right word to use. I don't know, my English isn't my best point. But I think you're going to need to pit in order to get the best out of it. So, again, do you help each other as a team with slipstream, or do you preempt these strategies somehow? What's your thinking going into this one?
With this one, I think you've got to go into it with the mindset of it's going to be tough on the tyres. Personally, I try and extend that opening stint, because I think everyone knows they're going to have to pit with this sort of tyre wear. But if you can extend that stint, you're going to have the fresher tyres at the end. And I think that's going to be key, is how much better your tyres are at the end of this race.
I'm just going to pop a little message to Stewie. Needs 30 minutes. Yeah, he's done it, I think.
Yep.
There we go. We're in. Right, so we're going to do qualifying again. So, of course, it would be probably a little bit unfair to reverse grid it from the last round, although it would make things interesting. Instead, we're going to do qualifying all over again. So this is 10 minutes.
Qualifying has started, confirmed by Stewie.
So are the tyres restricted then? Can they only use the medium tyres in this one? I forgot to look. Let me have a look.
I'm on it, don't worry. Yes, medium tyres only for this race.
Interesting.
So we've got 4 times fuel depletion, 10 times tyre wear in this race. And also the strong slipstream.
And that's a strong slipstream as well. Sorry, mechanical damage is on?
Light.
Ah, light.
So, if you're new to GT Sport or can't really remember it, which is fair enough, mechanical damage on light means if you hit a wall, hit another car, you get damage, but it will fade away in a matter of time. So you can have it on strong, which means you pretty much permanently have it until you have a pit stop, which is stupid.
That's what we run in our GT3 league, and we've got a lap at Nürburgring, a race at Nürburgring next week. And if you bin it on T1, it's a 10-minute lap.
A long lap.
It's a long time. It's a long time to be carrying engine damage, let me tell you that.
Really?
It will be if you've got engine damage, yeah.
True, yeah.
It's about 6 or some minute. I can't remember actually. I've not even driven it yet. Yeah, but it'll be 10 minutes of engine damage. So, 2 minutes into quali already, and we're just starting the first lap after everyone's made their out lap. So, mocking weeks gets us underway. With fuel being on in this one, is it worth fuel burning in this? Do you reckon some of the guys have been going around just revving the nuts out of the cars to deplete the tanks? Or
No,
do you...
round here you've only got 10 minutes worth of time, so to waste time at the beginning is silly, because you can set a very fast time even on 4 tanks of fuel. Though we say that Stream Mac is revving the nuts off his Mazda.
he's definitely having that. He's definitely having that option, isn't he? Yeah, he's going ham in that thing.
But I think you'll see most of the top guys just going for constant laps, because even though obviously the fuel will burn, obviously at every stage, even if you're just revving the nuts with the engine, you will lose tyre performance anyway. So you might as well make that tyre performance count. And if they need to, they could do a couple of flying laps, come in the pits, change tyres, take on no more fuel, and go again.
So I'm just having a quick look at the timing. Lightblade appears to be the fastest man on track at the minute, and that's who we're watching. But Mocking Week's going to come through to set the first lap time we've got.
Now, it was interesting to say about Lightblade, because obviously Lightblade, the Minis wasn't really his forte as such. I don't think he's driven them all season for NxtGen, whereas he is in the MX-5 Cup with NxtGen, so this is a bit more like home for him. And it's a great asset for NxtGen having a driver who is quite quick in the front-wheel drive but has good experience in the MX-5s.
So that's a 1:54.2 to get us underway, and that's 1.7 seconds up from Mocking Week, so he did a 1:56. So yeah, he's showing his pace. Mile Tyler, he's not going to. In fact, what I'm going to do is just break my rule and put this on, which will give me lap times.
Obviously, again, all the P1 guys running separate liveries, Proam Paddy in there and a Toshiba livery. It's quite an interesting design, that one, Proam Paddy. It's a very simple design, but it works so well. Quite good in the number 29. Again, all the NGR boys on NxtGen running in uniform liveried cars. The key difference in the wing mirrors, and as you can see, the actual front window frame being different colours.
Of course, the numbers different for each driver as well. You were kind enough to make me a version of this car.
Yeah, it's got Impret, WR Impret blue colour.
Very nice. It looks good. Rear wheel 72 man puts his car on the front row of the grid for 1:55.5. That's a good time, but he's still 1.3 seconds shy of Lightblades.
I am very surprised at is no one, or I'll say that Bogus Begbie and Lightblade close on track. There's no one really in a team formation here, and it's really surprising.
You know what? I've got to agree with you. If you've got Slipstream on strong, and especially given the point you made during the mini race about them all being on chat, I would be expecting Lightblade to be saying, right boys, I've set a good time now, line up behind me, I'm just going to punch a hole in the air for you.
I think that's what he might be doing now for Bogus Begbie, and if they get this lap sorted, I don't know who that is behind.
Oh, but Bogus Begbie gets it all sorts of wrong, and he just missed his braking, did Bogus Begbie, and that has unfortunately put Lightblade in the grass. He's gonna have enough time to get round and do it again. It's Hunty the Punty. He's on his lap as well, but yeah, they're not working together, none of them, which is surprising. I agree.
The only other thing as well, being obviously the stronger Slipstream, is it potentially because the braking zone becomes that much longer? I mean, I believe I was hearing rumours around 100 metres extra you need.
Yeah, you're right, I think.
Lightblade not very happy in the chat, which is not good for team. Either that or he's having a bit of a joke, I don't know what.
Not too sure, hard to tell.
Yeah, Steve Scooby's now on pole position.
It's because Lightblade's backed out.
Lightblade's in the pits. He's just got the new sector.
I'm just watching West Ham Daz is a second up on his fastest time at the minute. He could people post up, but sorry, carry on.
All I was going to say is obviously the braking zone with the strong slipstream. I've heard rumours about 100 metres extra, so that could be the reason they're not really working together, because they can't brake as late. But I would have thought with strong slipstream, the amount you're getting in that slipstream would be far outweigh it.
I think you would be right. Lightblade at the minute is doing a bit of rallycross. I think he's just getting out of people's way. Yeah, that's a really good lap. A 154.9 for Hunty the Punty. The second man to break the 154 barrier. Really enjoying the Mazdas. So it is a NxtGen 1-2 as it stands. Steve Scooby continuing his great run of form, puts it on third as it stands at the minute. Of course, we're 8.5 minutes in now, so you really want to be on an out lap or you're not getting a lap in. So anyone crossing the line now isn't going to have time to set another lap, basically, is what I'm saying. You've got to be out on track going round. Rear wheel 72 man. He's out as well in fourth on a 155.5 at the minute.
Just Daz goes 7th quickest with I think that's a typo on GT Sports part.
Probably is.
He's just done a one. Yeah, that's definitely a typo, because on my screen it says West Ham Daz has done a 144.5, which would be one hell of a time.
Yeah, 156.5. There we go. It's repaired itself. Right then. So let's see where this leaves us all at then. Hunty Punty's just coming around to finish his lap. I don't know if he's up on this lap. I just did have a look at the timings and it wasn't really giving me much clue. The timing screen on GT Sport could do with a little bit of work. 154.9 is a solid lap though, and he's not going to be beating that. Steve Scooby's given up. Rear wheel 72 man's given up. Myler Tyler's just finishing his lap, but he's going to be the next man to cross the line. He's currently on a 155.9. Another good lap. But improving that by 3 tenths or more, we'll probably see him jump up to the second row of the grid. He would need to beat a 155.5 to do that, and it doesn't look like he's going to be able to do it on this occasion. No. Mocking Weeks improves to third on the grid. It hasn't flashed up his time yet. 155.4, great lap by Mocking Weeks there, and that is a job well done for him. That's quality pretty much over then.
Cuddles just crossing the line now.
Cuddles puts it in 9th. I think he did get in just before qualifying finished officially, so he's going to be our last man to set a time. Lightblade though, I think Lightblade wants more. My timing screen shows that he's improving. He's just not going to have time, I don't think, to get around.
Might do. No, 10 seconds is not enough unless he's got a rocket boost on the back of that MX-5.
I'm afraid Lightblade will never know what you had just before the line. Oh, that's crunching. Right, another 30 minutes then.
NGR front row, followed by a P1 second row, then the first mixed row is row number 3.
Yeah, so I've got to agree with your point, Jordan, that they should have really teamed up for quali. I think that would have certainly brought a lot more of either the P1 guys to the front or the NxtGen guys to the front. Either way, all get away cleanly. It looks like Cuddle's got a bit of a slow start. Pilgrim Paddy's going to jump him straight away. And he's at Steve's. Oh, this has got trouble written all over it. Onto the Punty though.
Yeah, big collision into turn number 1. Multiple cars involved.
That's a big accident. That is a big accident. We'll go back and check that out.
That's what That's what happens when you have strong slipstream.
They were just getting the toe all the way down, weren't they?
Possibly weed smoker, possibly just late on the brakes going in,
Yeah.
giving them causing absolute carnage.
We've had our first retiree of the night, technical issues, bogus Begbie.
Don't know if that's... yeah. Hopefully it's so that means NxtGen a man down this race.
So that's going to pile the pressure on the other boys a little bit. P1 are representing really well in this race so far. I would expect them to. It is their race. But a NxtGen boy leads the way. Lightblade 2K with a 2-second gap to Mocking Weeks. Hunty though is all over him like a fat kid on a cupcake. As they come through this tight, twisty, technical last sector. Hard to overtake here. But if he gets a catapult,
you can really set it up through here.
He is.
You can really set something up.
And I think he looks to be doing just that. He's filling that wing mirror full of MX5.
Wait, Tyler isn't too far behind Rear Wheelman. If you go on the back of Rear Wheelman here, means you'll get the pressure off of Hunty, because at the moment Hunty's in that really horrible position. He wants to attack, but he's got to defend all at the same time right now.
And here you're seeing the power of the suck. Hunty has to get on the brake really early. Really early.
Close.
But for me, their Mocking Weeks did brake really early. Hunty does a fine job of rescuing that, but it's just because he had to slam on the brakes so hard coming through into turn 1, it just put him out of shape.
Alright, that's not what you need from your teammate though. They're still side by side, and Steve Scooby is right behind him.
I think there's a little bit of frustration creeping into this NxtGen team. They've got to calm this one down now. We all know how fast Steve Scooby is, and you don't want to give him a sniff at an overtake because he will take it. I've got to say, I do like these liveries. That I mean, you know, I will praise you live on air for the NxtGen liveries because they are a piece of art. But I kind of like the NxtGen, what the P1 boys are rocking as well. Nice individual twists. The FU Cancer logos all over there. The shout outs to their leader Baggy Snails and his recent battle with cancer. It really is good to see how a community can come together when they need to.
Oh, Cuddles, that's a rookie error. I apologise, but just watching Cuddles with Stewie Mack. So these two are effectively the team captains for the two teams. All he's done, he's gone into the braking zone and put his rear left wheel on the grass.
Cuddles, you should know better. Miley Tyler's off.
How did he get down there? That's an impressive drop in the standings.
So
I wonder if it was something to do with Hunty the Punty as well, because he's dropped down to 6th.
Yeah, they were fighting, weren't they?
Yeah, it didn't look like there was much communication going on between the team. I must say, this MX5 race, there just seems to be that bit more communication between the P1 boys.
Yeah, it's Lightblade is on his own because he's got Mocking Weeks, Real 72, Steve Scooby, and Ewok, and 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. All P1 racers.
The worst thing as well for Lightblade here is that Mocking Weeks probably won't look for an overtake until Steve Scooby gets on the back of them, and they're just going to look to freight train him. Because you've got Lightblade in first, and behind him you've got 4 P1 cars. Now if they all come together, that's one hell of a slipstream frame.
Hunty the Punty Mimod did have a look on Ewok. I think he decided better of it and backed out. Do you think they'll be that used to the slipstream being on real that it's probably just catching some of these NxtGen boys out? I mean, it seems like a bit of a poor excuse because they have had plenty of practice time with these settings. It's not like the P1 boys caught them by surprise as Ewok gets it wrong.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, you can do as much practice as you like around there or with the correct settings. But I think the biggest problem with the practice isn't necessarily how much time you have, it's how many people you have to practice on that certain day. Because obviously, you could be practicing with 2 of you, and it's not quite going to replicate the same sort of slipstream you can get if you're fighting in a group. Because you will get that 2-3 car slipstream, which is going to be 200-300 times more powerful.
Yeah, we're just watching that in effect coming down the main straight, looking black from Lightblade's car, and Mocking Weeks just drove up on him like he was standing still.
Ooh, that was Ewok running wide out of turn number 1, so giving Hunty the Punty a gap out. Was that, or was it Pilgrim? I think Ewok did go off, but I think also Pilgrim and Paddy did. Only 3 of the top 10 currently are NxtGen.
And one of them is Tokyo Drift in it.
Good old Mr. Cuddles.
He's just going backwards in this race, but there's plenty of time, there's 25 minutes. So the boys aren't going to be able to recover some of this lost ground. Lightblade, has to be said, doing a sterling job up in first position, holding off Mocking Weeks. He does get it a little bit wide, but holds it.
I mean, I tell you, that says something. The whole of the P1 team are in the top 10, technically the top 9.
This is their domain though. This is what they wanted, and you can see why they're all over this. Looks like Mocking Weeks is shaping up a move. The body language he's putting in that car does sort of tell me that he's shaping up a move, which I'm surprised at, because Hunty the Punty is now up into 4th. So Steve Scooby's made an error somewhere. I don't know if you can tell anything by lap deltas where that mistake happened, but he's down in 5th now, so...
that happened in the quite tight the right hander, which has a double apex near the end of the lap, by the looks of it, or the left hander just before it.
I'm just going to interrupt you. There has been some movement up top. Mocking Weeks got a slipstream battle on Lightblade going into turn 1, but Lightblade did a brilliant job on the brakes. Just squeezed Mocking Weeks to the edge of the track and got it done under braking, so some brilliant defending by Lightblade.
He's a tough man to get past, and I'll speak from experience on that one.
He's not going to make this easy. All the more he backs Mocking Weeks up, it gives Hunty the chance to catch up. Hunty is 8 seconds back from these guys. Does need all the help he can get, by virtue of being involved in that turn 1 carnage that we saw a while ago.
And considering he's got no slipstream and he's defending a 154.1 and 154.3, it's good times here from Lightblade. Still nowhere near Mocking Weeks' 153.4.
But he basically got slingshotted out the corner of that lap. I was watching it. He literally just got the slipstream all the way through the corner and then out onto the main straight. He just got thrown through it by Lightblade. Lightblade sends it. Oh no, 2 wides, and he's round. Unfortunately, he's gone full Vettel on us.
Little half spin, and that's a lot of time lost and no slipstream to get it back.
So Mocking Weeks and Rearwheel 72 can now drive off into the distance. Let's have a watch of that again and just see what happened from Lightblade's perspective. So this is a tight, tricky technical section. On this corner you are trail braking, and he just gets it a little bit wrong onto the gravel, and yeah, that's just sent the car round, unfortunately. I suppose one thing that could come of that is Hunty and Lightblade can now potentially work together. They are close enough together that they can sort of group up and start to regain some of that time.
I think it'll be very hard. Mocking Weeks and Rear Wheel Man, they're just going to work together here. And I think with that slipstream as well, unless one of these two make a mistake and leave the other stranded with no slipstream, I think it could be quite hard.
Of got to agree with you. P1 are all over this race. So how's tyre wear looking for them then? Do you reckon that was a contributor for it?
Well, the top three are looking okay at the moment. Not a lot of front tyre wear, but Hunty the Punty, the first one, really with a good chunk more, not masses, but just enough on the front left tyre. Same actually for everyone. It's just got down a little bit. Yeah, tyre wear looking very similar. Ewok's got slightly more front tyres. Yeah, still fairly equal, to be fair. Cuddles, I think, doesn't have great tyre wear, but that is because he's on a controller and it's very hard to conserve the tyres. Minor Tyler's looking quite nice on tyres though.
We've seen Cuddles sideways a few times as well.
Yeah, although sideways won't be too massively damaging on the tyres for this type of car anyway. It won't be massive damage. It's only if you hit the brakes and keep the tyres locked is when they'll do the damage. As long as you're off throttle or putting a little bit of throttle to get the tyres moving again, it will be fine. Obviously it didn't help it, but it shouldn't be a massive factor.
We'll check on the situation then as we approach the halfway point in the race. Mocking Week's our new leader. Him and Rear Wheel 72 man just working together to extend that gap to Lightblade. 4 seconds adrift of them. He does see them. The gap is visual, so he is reducing that. I don't know if in the background you can have a look at lap times and stuff, but to me it looks like Lightblade's reeling them back in again slowly. Shout out for Stewie Mack in chat by Abby McCoomby, and if I've pronounced his surname wrong, Abby, I do apologise. You can call me all you want on stream, that's fine. Good luck to everyone, she says. Shout out to her dad, so proud of him for doing it, and for everyone else dealing with this horrendous disease. Well said, Abby, well said. Stewie Mack's doing well in this race. He's running in 7th at the minute, and last race out in the minute. Sorry, go on.
On timings, I've got the time screen up in front of me. Mocking Week last time around a 1:55.7. Rear Wheel Man a 1:56.4, so slightly slower even though he had a slipstream. Lightblade and a 1:55.1. Punty the Punty a 1:54.8, so these two working well together to close the gap. And Hunty the Punty had a personal best, sector 1 this time around.
On worn tyres as well.
The other thing we have to look at as well is fuel, because fuel is going to be a factor in this race, I think.
Could be another reason why the P1 boys chose strong slipstream, because that enables more fuel saving potential as well.
Personal best then for Hunty the Punty, 1:54.335, personal best sector 1 and 3. And a good second for Hunty the Punty, quicker than Mocking Weeks. Lightblade 0.6 quicker, so they are reeling them in
slowly but surely. So of course both of these guys could be using each other's fuel saving devices, I guess, throughout the race. Hunty's just a bit too far back from Lightblade to really be benefiting from the slipstream in order to do that. But that's one thing Mocking Weeks and Rear Wheel 72 man can be doing throughout this. They can be saving that fuel.
Well, here's the thing right now. If they are coming up towards half a tank, and they're nearly halfway through, they're actually currently not on target to hit their fuel. They're going to have to do a touch more saving at the moment, because obviously half time of this race is 15 minutes. They have got various maps. Lightblade will be coming in the pits. Hunty the Punty will probably have to come in the pits as well. He's just under half. Lightblade a bit more. So the NxtGen boys are burning a bit more fuel here.
Do you reckon that's in an attempt to catch the guys ahead?
Quite possibly, and it could end up becoming a little bit of a nice tactic. Because if they can get up to the back of these boys, it will probably also explain why they're going quicker. But it could also force the leading P1 boys here to actually up the ante in their own fuel, cause them to perhaps make a stop they were not anticipating to make. Because right now the P1 boys are on target to finish this with no stops.
There's going to be a big ask to do this without a stop. Yeah, I think
the tyres will be very worn.
Yeah. Oh,
as we
we've got
see
some
a couple
stoppers.
of pit stops already. So Ewok and Steve Scooby are becoming Ted Kravitz. 4 tyres for both cars, as they now wait to fuel up. Both coming out absolutely bang on with each other. Steve Scooby pretty much in the boot of Ewok coming out of pits. But not a lot of fuel taken on board, just nearly to get them to 3/4 of a tank. They go side by side, and a penalty now for Ewok, possibly for a bit of contact with his teammate.
It was like a Mazda centipede coming out of the pits then, wasn't it?
Could you imagine if you had the whole team doing that on the way out of the pits?
That'd be a thumbnail. That's what that would be. Alright then. So
I'd just say Baggy Snails on the stream saying cheers Abby means a lot, and also saying go on lads, big shout to his best mate Mocking Meats, do this for him, no pressure. No pressure then for Mocking Meats to get the win.
So Mocking Meats at the minute is we're going to have a look at that because I clocked that in the background just as you were talking.
Light play, let's have a look what he's done. Oh, he's gone way too fast in that right-hander down the hill.
Forgot the pedal on the left, I think.
I think he might have just hit the clutch instead.
Well, what I was going to comment, I guess, just before that happened, is that the guys up ahead now have got a gap for if they wanted to pit stop. So, you know, Hunty or Lightblade could pit and still come out in representative positions.
I think, yeah, Lightblade's now in the pits. I think Hunty the Punty is now effectively going to be the guinea pig here for next gen. I can see him pushing up to the P1 boys and forcing them into a place they don't want to go. These two at the front, you can tell they don't want to pit. They're saving the fuel behind each other. I suspect their fuel, I mean, Mocking Weeks has still got nearly half a tank left. So he really is looking to just go all the way here. But if they're forced into running map 1, which is the fastest, that could cause issues in their plans, because that will burn fuel quite quickly.
Yeah, of course. If Hunt is currently the only one of 2 NxtGen races in the top 10, I think, is it? Oh no, we've got Pilgrim. No, we've got Myla Tyler in 10th as well as Cuddles Pits.
Pits, yeah. I'm pretty certain. I was having a look earlier. The whole, I think that was yeah, Myla Tyler spinning at turn number 1. All of the P1 boys are in the top 9 at the moment. They occupy 7 of the top 9 spots.
It's a great performance by him, isn't it? You've got to say that. Coming into nearly 20 minutes of the race elapsed now. Just a bit of a check on the JustGiving page for you, Jordan. £165 now.
That's good.
So I've had a few more donations in. Thank you very much for doing that if you have. Of course, if you're watching this and you haven't yet donated, please click the link in the comments and do just that.
Yeah, every pound counts.
So Ted Kravitz in the pits.
Yeah, Mocking Weeks and Rhea Wilmer have come in the pits, possibly just for a quick change of tyres. I don't think either of them, yeah, they both took fuel to half a tank, so they've got leeway and possibly now enough to push map 1 till the end. So Hunter the Punty I'm expecting in next lap around.
Can he make it to the end on what he's got now?
No. He's got a quarter of a tank left. Unless he does some serious fuel saving, which will cost him a lot of time around it because it's a very fast circuit. He's not going to the end. His tyres are also quarter of the way warm, which doesn't sound a lot, but that will start to cause understeer.
Yeah. So if you're Mocking Weeks, you're keeping a very close eye on that gap in the top left corner because you need to really drill out Hunty's pit stop window.
So a quick look at the sector times. obviously Mocking just coming through to the second sector on fresh tyres. Yeah, he's 4/10 quicker than Hunty in the second sector, I know. And Rear Wheel Man setting a personal best of 37.1 in sector 2, which is 1.1 quicker than Hunty. Hunty needs to get in now.
Yeah, I can see that gap falling. All the whilst, Steve Scooby, 4th place. So if Hunty does pit, he would comfortably come out in 3rd at least. With Steve Scooby being nearly 30 seconds behind him, embroiled in a battle with Ewok. Well, I say a battle, but they're both the same team, so I don't think they're really fighting each other.
And NxtGen boys are out in the pit lane. Hunty the Punty coming into the pits. See what he does then. It's going to be a fresh set of mediums. And if this was NASCAR and Americans, probably another quarter tank of Sunoco fuel.
So yeah, that's Rear Wheel and Mocking weeks through.
A lot of fuel taken on board there by Hunty. He's filled it up to 3/4 of a tank, so a long pit stop, possibly too long.
As we watch Ewok get past Steve Scooby for 4th, but I don't know if he got it a little bit wrong on entry, but he appeared to go a little bit wide.
Yeah, a bit late on the brakes, I think, from Ewok.
Lightblade spun twice. Is he pitted yet? I think he has pitted, hasn't he?
Yeah, Lightblade has pitted so far.
So he's now going to be pushing. I think.
What is interesting, I don't know what's happened to Pilgrim Paddy, but he's now down in 10th place. And that's a legitimate place overtake by Cuddles. Both of them have pitted. So Cuddles making his way up the field into 9th.
Yeah, you say up the field, he's got a 20-second gap to what was West Ham Daz. Well, Tyler's just so I did see someone just come out of the pits. I can't work out who that was. Someone's backwards at turn 1. Can't work out who that is. I'm trying to flick through the order.
Is Boozy Bob, who I believe did just come out of the pits.
Yeah, Boonsy Bob. So he's not having a good race, Boonsy Bob, but he's sticking with it, which I've got to applaud. No matter how you get on, he's staying in. You've got to applaud that attitude. Points are points. Let's have a quick update.
Everything's a bit quiet at the moment because mainly anyone that's closest tends to be P2, P1 boys. So they're not really fighting at the moment. They might have a little bit of a race near the end because of the hell of it.
Well, they're certainly, they're not fighting now, but they're damn well close. Hunty the Punty has got an 11-12 second deficit to those boys. That I don't see him making that up in 6 minutes unless they make a mistake up ahead. Stranger things have happened.
He's not going quicker either. He lost 2/10 that last lap around.
Steve Scooby's gone off.
Yeah, I've just come off the time so we can just see that. That's
So that's going to help Lightblade out. Just going on board with him to see what happens. Really weird incident. He got his front wheels on the inside of the turn.
Yeah, I can see what happened there actually. He's gone over the curb and he's just hooked the front left wheel on the inside of the curb. And when you start to do that on this game, it actually makes the back end light because you effectively got something underneath the car lifting it up. So obviously, if you're on the throttle, it spins the wheels up.
That does make sense. So Lightblade then is going to be putting a charge on Ewok. He is reeling him in at a rate of knots. He's got 5 minutes to make this move happen. Because then he'll be back up into 4th. So it'll be a P1-1-2. followed by NxtGen 3-4.
Interesting. I don't. Rear wheel man getting past Mocking somewhere on the yeah, just a standard slipstream down the main straight. So
could have been team orders, who knows.
maybe. I think that, to be honest, I wouldn't surprise me if that was just the power of the slipstream.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's now getting to that time where a couple of minutes left on this one. Potentially just letting them race now. Let's check up on everyone. Steve Scooby hasn't dropped back too far from Lightblade. As I say that, Steve Scooby's got past Lightblade, so Lightblade's made an error somewhere.
Yeah, turn number 1 looks like he's run a bit wide. Got on the grass, had a bit of a half spin. That's allowed Steve Scooby through.
As Weed Smoker just takes out the pit wall. Pitting with 3.5 minutes to go. A little bit strange, but looks like it's fuel related. Boomsy Bob getting out of the way of first and second.
Damage related as well with that from Weed Smoker. It looks like he didn't take on any fuel. Took some tyres and repaired a bit of damage, although I'm surprised because it's light damage. So
I was going to say it would have repaired itself at some point.
Straight off the turn 1.
Matt Lambert in the chat. Good, you couldn't make it. Yeah, I was expecting you. To be fair, I'm sure I saw your name on the entry sheet. Gonna have another overtake for P1. Mocking Weeks doing it for Baggy. But Rear Wheel's going to outbrake him into T1. Looks like the NxtGen boys are being allowed to race. No, not the NxtGen boys, the P1 boys. Sorry guys, don't string me up for that one. Yeah, looks like they're being allowed to race for that legitimate P1 spot. Hunted the Punty 12 seconds back.
Right now, NxtGen are not doing themselves any favours. They're only 6 points ahead, and they're a million miles out of positions right now.
So, did NxtGen do enough of a job in the minis?
No, not with these standings, not a chance. Not with seven P1 guides in the top 9.
Yeah, they're reeling in the points on this one, aren't they, P1?
It's quite a commanding race right now from P1. Oh, that's Proam Race almost a right old tank slapper out of the final corner, and that's allowed the Cuddles up into 9th.
Doesn't go straight back for the move on Cuddles down the long straight, and they are on the last lap now. So I think Rear Wheel 72 man, Mocking Weeks, Hunty, maybe even Ewok are going to have one more. But there's quite a lot of guys on laps at the minute that won't get to start another.
I think we'll get the top 6, we'll get an extra lap, possibly the top 7 at push. Yeah, top 7 will get an extra lap, so I'm going to say West Ham Daz will be the first man to finish this race down in 8th place.
Yeah, 30 seconds remaining. And yeah, I think you're right, West Ham Daz is too far away from the finish line. Stewie Mack in 7th is going to come around to start his last lap then. Boomsy Bob completely given up on life and he's just waiting for the timer to elapse in last position. I've got to admit I'd probably do the same. West Ham Daz, is he going to make it? No, he breaks as well. He breaks as well. So West Ham Daz confirmed 8th. Pilgrim Paddy gets back the position from NGR Cuddles at some point in the lap, and all he needs to do is hold on to it for one more turn. Cuddles is going to go for that inside line. Pilgrim Paddy's going to shut the door on him though, essentially, and get that move solidified as we come around the final turn. Cuddles goes for the mightiest of corner cuts. Gets a little bit of a penalty, but you might as well try these things. So Pilgrim Paddy 9th, Cuddles 10th, Myler Tyler looks set for an 11th place finish.
We've got a bit of a battle on here for 5th place. Lightblade is right up the chuff of Steve Scooby right now.
Let's keep an eye on this then. We will flick back to the top guys in just a minute and cover them as they go over the line, unless this really does get heated, which looks like it's really got them sticking with this. This has got the potential to heat up.
Mocking Weeks just crossing the line now in the lead. He wins for Barry Snails with Real Wheel Man in 3rd. Hunty, the Bunty, will come home for a very nice 3rd place.
Oh, contact between Lightblade and Scooby. Sorry to interrupt you there, but it just got a little bit heated at the back. We'll see how that pans out.
The next not to cross the line as Ewok finishes 4th. Steve Scooby 5th. Lightblade comes home 6th. A good drive by Lightblade. This is overshadowed by a couple of mistakes, really.
Yeah, it's been a race littered with little errors that didn't need to happen, and it all started within the first 10 seconds. I think you'll agree. It was a bit of a mess of a start.
Yeah, it's Jim Cannard right up the line.
So, got to congratulate this man, Mocking Weeks, winning it for Baggy. A great race from Mocking Weeks. Him and Rear Wheelman just worked together throughout the entire thing. So I'll just save that replay. But a good third position for Hunty as well.
It was a good drive from Hunty, yeah, really nicely driven.
Give them a congrats on screen. Right then, so that is your team versus team event. Obviously, we've got 2 lobbies going, I meant to say, and I'm just going to go and check in on Dark Smokers now and just see how they're getting on. I think they were about 5 minutes behind us when I last checked.
I'm just sorting out the points right now for this team versus team Proam lobby. So
we'll get an update on points in just a minute then, once you've done that. In the meantime, let's go and check out how the Pro lobby is getting on. So yeah, they're in their latter stages, so it looks like NxtGen are winning the race in that one. Sparks in the lead, but yeah, similar P1 representing really well in that race as well, with quite a lot of guys in the top 10 looking at it. Yeah, so this has been an FU to Cancer event, team versus team, P1 versus NxtGen Racing. Just basically the sim racing community coming together, recognising that you know, we as a group, as a collective, can do some good in the world. And you know, there's millions raised for charities around the world every day, but with that amount of money, without people like these guys just giving up their spare time to do stuff like this, it's these little events that really do make the difference for a lot of charities. We are up to like £165 odd at the minute, which, considering I set that JustGiving page up under 12 hours ago, is not a bad shout at all. So a big thank you to everyone who's donated. Of course, if you haven't donated yet, the link is in the comments. It will be in the description when the stream is published. Please do go and give whatever you've got, essentially. If that's £10 billion, if you've recently won the Euro Millions. Of course, me and Jordan could do with a payout if that's the case. And yeah, just go and support what is a genuinely worthy cause to combat an illness that affects an awful lot of people, probably more people than you actually realise it affects in one way or another. Yeah, loads of drivers across 2 lobbies, 2 sim racing groups coming together. Not necessarily last minute, this has been in the works for a week or so. But a big shout out to all the organisers that have put this together. So the hosts, the heads, honchos of each group that have been instrumental in getting it all going. All the drivers, of course, for their constant sort of input and egging on of things to get happening and working together. I really do like when things like this go together as well. Go on, sorry.
I think obviously, even this is kind of including me, but also the guys who made all the liveries as well.
Yeah.
A week
Second.
isn't a lot of time for a livery to be made.
And you've had to do individual liveries, and I will say this, individual liveries for every driver. So personalised liveries were made for each one to go on that had all the logos on them that were required as well, to satisfy sponsors and stuff.
Both sides tonight looked fantastic.
Yeah, great. Really, like I say, I really enjoyed the uniform livery look that that NGR went with, and the liveries were really smart. And a big shout out to the P1 boys as well, because they had some cracking designs on their cars. Visually appealing.
I know Cuddles designed the minis for the next gen. Obviously, I designed the Mazdas. I don't know who designed the P1 stuff, whether they were actually individually by each driver, where the one person sat down and made them all that much different. It was really, really good mix, and it's a good show of talent, really, in the livery department, since this is the only game on console, in reality, that you can really do that in a racing car.
So, let's have a look where we're at. Hunty the Punty in the chat. Good game. Mate, you impressed me tonight, you have. Yeah, really impressive job by you, mate. Some really good driving tonight. Obviously, Stewie Mac did a good job in the first race, starting from the back, getting his way all the way up to the front. Hunter, you had some pressure and good racing throughout as well, my friend. So well done for that. It's been good fun.
The long-awaited moment for knowing what the points are for Pro-Am. Now, I don't know how it's being dealt with, whether it's genuinely two different lobbies and two different results, or whether the two results are going to be put together.
Okay.
Don't know, but for the Pro-Am section anyway, NxtGen in the end scored 124, obviously a man down in the final race. P1 scoring a massive 161 that second race. Obviously having 7 cars in the top 9 really is going to boost your chance. So a massive gap there of 37 points difference.
Yeeps. P1 did an absolutely solid job in that second race, though.
Congratulations to the P1 Pro-Am team. That second race, they knew it was their strength, and they played very well to it. They took it by the scruff of the neck and just went, let's go and have it. And I think the minis, obviously, that's NxtGen's ballpark, and they were quick, don't get me wrong, but they just didn't quite have everyone up there, and there was just possibly 2 or 3 too many mistakes being made in a car they know well.
Yeah, no, I've got to agree with everything you say, mate. And to add into that, the lack of, I'm not saying this disrespectfully, but the lack of teamwork in the qualifying surprised me a little bit as well.
On both parties, yeah. And there was no real teamwork at all from either side. I mean, and I think one of the biggest parts for the second race, there, P1, from the way it looked, they had a lot more communication when they were together. Obviously, we had that first turn incident, and ever since then, obviously, you saw Myla Tyler and Hunty the Punty having a bit of a scrap. It just seemed like communication broke down a little bit after that first turn, because a lot of the end of the NxtGen runners were in that.
Yeah, no, agreed. Right, I think it's time to wrap this one up, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll wrap it up by just mentioning that there is another lobby running tonight, both live stream with commentary. The Pro lobby was dealt with by Dark Smoke on his channel. I'm going to throw a link up to his stream in the description below. He was joined tonight, probably in Potham at Pot's shed, surrounded by stale coffee, cold pizza, loads of tissues, yada yada. In Potter's shed tonight, they were doing commentary there. So grats to all those guys for doing that. I could sit here all night saying thank yous to everyone that's put the event together, but I've done that already, so I'm not going to. What I will say is this is obviously a race to raise money for a very worthy cause. There are links all over the place to a JustGiving page to donate a little bit of spare cash if you've got it, or a lot of spare cash if you've got it. Please do that. But from me, It's just a great thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for all the drivers for giving up their spare time to do this event. It is meant to be their week off, don't forget, so they're meant to not be doing this now. They're actually meant to be, like I say, on holiday with a bit of a sangria going on. So that's it. Big thank you from me. Jordan, any last words from yourself, my friend?
I think obviously thank you for everyone for tuning in as well. Obviously, help spread the word of it if you join in, have a bit of a chat in the chat, and spread the word of the stream. And thank you to everyone who's donated. Obviously, it is a cracking cause.
Yeah, so we're up to 160 something pounds last time I checked, 165 at this minute in time. So we have increased this during the time of the stream. I'll keep the JustGiving page open for a little while as well, so hopefully that will keep rolling in some donations. But that's it from me. So I've been Chris, I've been joined by Jordan. You've been watching the NxtGen Racing versus P1 team versus team event. Thank you for tuning in, and good night.